Welcome to Arsenal, best midfielder in the world. Love you. Good evening and welcome to FDT-TV. I'm Mike.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Phil.
And here we are talking about things football in the Premier League, but mainly West Ham, Arsenal and Liverpool. Come on, boys.
I'm sorry, I thought we was talking about football from the 1930s with that accent.
I'm Chappy.
Right, well, here we are. We are into week 4, I believe. Is this the fourth? Yeah, week 4 of the FDT-TV. Today is a significant episode in the fact that Liverpool host Arsenal in the Premier League. And for those keen-eyed viewers will know that this strip is the strip we were wearing the last time we won at Anfield.
And how many years ago was that?
2012.
My God, I don't know if some of our viewers were even born then.
But as I said, that was the last time that we won at Anfield. Just to clarify an earlier episode when Phil suggested that Arsenal drew with Liverpool in the Premier League at the back end of last season, we actually won. Liverpool went 1-0 up and we won 2-0.
2-0?
But that was 2-1. All right. That backfired very quickly. Yes, so today we are recording this early, not that it'll make any difference to you because we want to get done in time for the game, so we are going to crack on. Mr. Philip Adam, you have once again run a poll on the Twitterage. You can find our
best goals.
Twitter handles just below us. Yes, crack on.
Yes, so my usual Monday tweet is about the 3 best goals from the Premier League from Saturday or Sunday. Very difficult choice this week. We narrowed it down to a West Ham goal of Jalen Bowen. His first goal, where he took on half of the Wolves or the Portuguese team and scored. The second, we have Maddison with his lovely, again, supreme screamer into 25-yard outside the box, beating Man City, just because they beat Man City. Good job on that, extra bonus points. And then Riyad Mahrez for his wonderful opening volley on his weaker foot, which was pretty impressive from the angle he was up. And the winner, with 50% of the votes, was the West Ham man.
Jared
Bowen. Well done.
Scored his second and third goals for West Ham.
Done well yesterday. West Ham are absolutely outstanding.
I don't know where that come from, though. It's not
well, we had a quick chat last night, didn't we? And I was just like, yeah, it's 2-0. Yeah, it's 3-0. Ian, you'll never guess, it's 4-0.
Yeah, it was quite horrendous, really.
Fantasy dream.
It was a good game. It was a good game. West Ham really, really dominated. There are a couple of honourable mentions that I would like to shout out for. They just my opinions. Calvert-Lewin, I thought his goal against Crystal Palace, I think it was, the weekend was very good. And also Marcus Rashford. His goal was an absolute worldie.
It was actually
individual effort, running down, absolutely skinning everyone.
2 players on their arse.
Yeah, it was absolutely cracking goal. Any honourable mention? Any other honourable mentions? From
mine, it wasn't a Premier League goal, but it was against England's number 1 and the team sitting top of the Premier League, and that was in the League Cup. It was the lower league fellow who scored an overhead kick against Jordan Pickford.
Nice.
It was just sublime. Just felt it. You know, when you think, oh, he's just gone for that just to hit an O-pit, and just lobbed him. It's great.
I didn't see that goal, so I can't comment on that, but I'll be sure to check that one out.
So, Phil, when do you run your polls so our audience knows?
I do it on a Monday morning, so it goes out live on a Monday morning, and it will close in time for our recording, which we often do on the evening time. So I tend to run it through till roughly around 6 p.m.
Fair enough. Very
Good
good.
job. Good job. Just before we do go any further, I have just seen that the teams have been announced for the Liverpool Arsenal game. We have now started running a short set of videos for upcoming predictions of what we think are going to be, what our predicted lineups were going to be. Go and check those out in our other videos. You'll be able to see them. Ian's done one just recently for the West Ham Carabao Cup game.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I've got to predict Liverpool versus Arsenal yet again, which will be out later on this week. But I think it's going to very much depend on how tonight goes and what players are available, if any get injured, and if we absolutely romp here, then we'll probably stick with the same team. But we'll see.
You mean when you romp them? Not if. When.
I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to be pessimistic and say if, because then if we do win, then I'm going to be over the moon, and then I've worn this top for absolutely the right reasons. So a feature that we have also started running fairly recently since the podcast started again is the one good, one bad. We've only, myself and Phil have decided that we were going to run it on the League Cup games that we had last week because our fixture's yet to play, so we can't really give anything on tonight's fixture.
We haven't got the crystal balls out yet, have we?
Well, you can't see me. I'm sitting down. Mine are But one good, one bad. It's a feature that Ian has started to enjoy. So without further ado, take it away, Ian.
One good, one bad. I'm going to go for the Wolves game. One good is we won 4-0. What a result! Was not expecting that by any means. One bad, we won 4-0. So that means all of our goals would have come in that one game, and we probably won't score again for a couple.
You're right, yeah. So either that or your expectations are going to be like that every week.
That's the thing. He's West Ham fans. We're a fickle bunch, and everyone hates everyone. And then we won 4-0, and now everyone loves everyone until we play whoever we play next and get obliterated. But we won 4-0, so good and bad. That's about it, really. We didn't have any controversial VAR, so I'm not worried about that.
It's going to be an interesting conversation when we get onto it. Is that you all done?
It's one good and one bad.
Okay. Mr. Bannerman, go for it.
Well, for me, I have to remember there's 7 good things I have to mention about the game last week. And that's 7 wonderful Liverpool goals.
Okay.
Some were absolutely amazing goals, like Shaqiri's free kick, absolutely outstanding. Jones, he got a couple of good goals, and Minamino as well. Superb finish from him. And the one bad is, I was similar to Ian, 7 goals. It gives I thought it was going to give quite a big selection headache for this week coming. So to today's game and the game on Thursday, because you've got so many players now that are playing really well and showing that they can score and make a difference. So unfortunately for Klopp, I think he's got a big headache on who to play.
Can I just interject there?
Yeah.
It's not 7 good, 7 bad. It's 1 good, 1 bad. You can only choose one of them.
My one good is 7 goals.
So all you're allowed is 1. I think that leaves 1, doesn't it? That leaves a certain Mr. Hawes for 1 good, 1 bad.
Does indeed. My 1 good, 1 bad. Obviously, the game against Leicester, we won 2-0. I'd pretty much written us off for that game, stupidly. But once we'd seen the team selections and seen that Brendan Rodgers selected a completely changed team, we did pretty much dominate that game. But I'd say the one good from that was Saka. It was absolutely outstanding. Tremendous work rate again. And it definitely has a bright future for Arsenal. My bad... this is a bit of a strange one. I'm jumping on the Ozil fanboy bandwagon. Just to say that it was a little bit disappointing that he wasn't picked even in the squad. And I think from what we can see as Arsenal fans now is that potentially we're not going to see Mesut Ozil again in an Arsenal shirt unless he's playing for under 23s or if there's going to have to be a lot of people injured, I think, before we see Mesut Ozil again. And it's a shame because regardless of what people think of him, I think he's still a terrific player, and he's definitely going to be one that's I'm going to miss when he's gone.
Does that come down to work ethic in training, do you think? Because you've got a lot of players and that seem to work very hard, and Mikel Arteta wants them to work hard. Do you reckon that just comes down to the fact of he's not running maybe as much as everyone else?
Well, I think we've discussed this before, in the fact that it must be something along the lines of that. There may be some kind of directive that's come down from the upper echelons where they don't agree with his political opinions, they don't agree with his attitude in certain aspects of football. But under Arsene Wenger, he was untouchable. But certainly since we've seen it, there's got to be something deeper lying, because that's now two managers that he's fallen out of favour with, i.e. Unai Emery and now Mikel Arteta. We're not going to include the Freddie Ljungberg.
Yeah, you may never know, though. That's the thing. You may never find out what's going on.
And that is the upsetting thing, because I think, as I said, I think he's a world-class player. We've missed a lot of creativity over the last couple of weeks, and I definitely think that he would still have that in his game. Put him in a big situation, I think he'd shine again.
I don't think you can doubt his quality, but I think you will find out when he releases a book when he retires.
Yeah, absolutely.
The entitled bench warmer.
No.
What's that?
You never know. He might start tonight.
He's definitely not starting tonight. I've seen the lineup. Yes. So moving on to the next subject. Again, is one that we've spoken about a lot of times before. It's now become a regular feature. Everyone's favourite, VAR. This weekend has definitely seen its fair share of VAR decisions, rightly or wrongly. And I think it's only going to be exactly the same until something changes throughout the rest of the season. There was I was listening to one of the commentaries of a particular game. I can't remember exactly what game it was, but at that time, it confirmed that there had been 16 penalties given already in the Premier League this season.
That was all to Manchester United, wasn't it?
No, they've had 15.
To Newcastle.
We'll just go through some of them. Obviously, we know how infuriating it is for all fans. I think the only people that it wouldn't annoy would be people that are referees. So one of the ones that did come up, Crystal Palace versus Everton, as I mentioned before, handball given. The ball didn't travel very far, but from what I saw, the hand did move towards the ball. So I can understand why that would be given. But this and a couple of others go back to the point that I'd said a couple of weeks ago, in the fact that it's just going to be a simple case of people getting into the box and trying to kick it at a defender.
You mean
and I think that's going to be the way of it for the rest of this season.
A bit like Eric Dyer yesterday when Andy Carroll headed it onto his arm and he knew nothing about it. Wasn't even facing the ball. And
this is one that I'll come across or come onto in a second. But even me as an Arsenal fan, yes, I did find it funny because it's Spurs.
Yep.
But at the same time, if that had been us in that position, you'd be outraged. Or anyone in that position would be absolutely outraged. And there's nothing. There's nothing you could do about it. And that is the frustrating thing, because it was a very, very interesting. I was listening to Drive whilst I was out running earlier, and they were basically saying that defenders have had to adapt their game in recent years because of the handball rules, and you see them running along with their hands by their sides. You can't do that if you're jumping, especially if someone's coming into the back of you. You need to have balance, and you use your arms for the balance. So therefore, if that is the case, we're going to see more penalties given.
I shall introduce you to something, Mike and Ian. It's called the salmon leap. I think we're going to start seeing more of that, where the arms are dead beside your side, yes. And whoop.
A bit like Joe Hart's dance all them years ago. I think that, in fairness, Tottenham shot themselves in the foot there, because in that first half they had the opportunity to be 15-0 up, and they just could not get the goals. They hit the post a couple of times. Newcastle's goalkeeper was absolutely sublime. So I just feel like they wasted that opportunity a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It's a fair comment. Right, this is the big one for the weekend for me.
Mm-hmm.
The Spurs one comes second, but this one was definitely the standout one for me. Man United. I distinctly remember a couple of weeks ago where I made a joke about it going into the 114th minute of a game into Fergie time and Man United getting a penalty.
Yep.
That was a tongue-in-cheek comment. However, this weekend, we didn't see something too dissimilar to that. In the 100th minute, I think it was, the full-time whistle had gone. Brighton, was it Brighton?
Yes.
Yeah, Brighton. Not Bournemouth. Brighton.
That's a joke from last season, that is.
Yeah.
Bloody
Not even in the same league no more.
Same podcast, same shit jokes. Yeah, so Man United in the last minute of Fergie time, or Ollie time as it's now known, were given, full-time whistle had gone, penalty given. Yes, it was a handball, but the whistle had gone.
Yeah.
Phil, you don't look. What is your talk to me, Goose?
I think it's completely and utterly out of order to give a penalty in those circumstances. You say the game's, when the final whistle's gone, a player's going to pick up the ball or touch the ball in a numerous number of ways, and you can't. Once that final whistle is gone, it's gone. The game's over. So no matter what happens, even if the ball's in flight, nothing counts.
But what didn't the penalty appeal come before?
It come as the referee was blowing his whistle. But the thing is he didn't wait for there to be a review or to go, oh, actually, we need to look at that. He blew the whistle. That is the end of the game. I'm sorry, but once that whistle's gone, it's tough. A lot of the appeals did come, say, after that. But then again, should they not be looking at all of those Manchester United players who surrounded the ref saying that they needed a penalty? Yes. Because you're then appealing for things that you shouldn't be. You should only be the captain. And as the laws of the game are written, all of those players should have been booked. And if they were looking at it retrospectively after the whistle had gone, they should all be on yellow cards. I imagine that probably would have changed the...
Yeah, and you can give yellow cards and red cards after the game.
But it's just the manner in which they went about it. And I feel like Bruno Fernandes's comments after the game were... He's ruined... I mean, there's no doubt he's a fantastic footballer, but his professionalism there, for me, went out the window. Brighton should have won that game quite easily. They hit the post 5 times, and yet they won on a penalty after the game had finished. 10 minutes after the full-time whistle should have gone. Mm-hmm. It just, for me, it's typical Man United. Yes. And when you talk to their fans, they want that every week. Oh, we're happy with that. We got a point. Well, you played horrendously. You don't deserve a point, and you got one by some misjudgment from everyone. Points. Did they win it? I thought they only got a draw.
No.
Well, in that case, then it's a complete. I didn't realise. I thought they'd drawn it.
No, Brighton equalised on the 93rd minute, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then this happened, so they actually got the 3 points from it, which is, I think, even worse. And it's positions. It's what we were saying at the end of last year in the terms of some clubs potentially taking the Premier League to appeal, because that could have been 2 extra points or sorry, a point at the end of the season. That could be the difference between not promotion, relegation, or staying in the Premier.
Well, it was for Aston Villa, wasn't it?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, not VAR, the goal line technology not being on, that was the difference because they stayed up by a point.
Yep.
And if they hadn't have got that point, they would have been relegated. So,
but let us know your comments, your thoughts in the comments below.
Yeah.
What
how
are you
outraged?
Yeah. If you were a Brighton fan, how did you feel about that?
Or if you're a Manchester United fan, what do you think about it?
If you're a United fan, if you're a Spurs fan, you probably will get laughed at. But the
someone's got.
I'm joking. So moving on to our predictions from last week.
Yep,
we had the League Cup games to discuss, and also the Premier League fixtures, which we did. We're still one fixture down from this week, which is going ahead this evening, as we all know. But we have all scored 2 points this week. So I have updated the table thus far. Phil, you are currently in the lead on 7 points. I'm on 6, and Ian, you are currently on 4, but there is still the game to go tonight.
So when I win tonight and I get 3 points, where does that puts me first?
Joint first.
I'll take that.
We'll take your joint first with Mr. Bannerman. So that leads us on to this week's.
Lots of games this week.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 5 games to predict this week.
Okay.
Starting with the League Cup fixtures again, we have Everton versus West Ham.
Yes, we do.
Tough game.
It is a very tough game, and I think the trouble is we're going to play a rotated squad, as you can see in my video that I've done. Go and have a look.
Very good.
I would like to think we've got our number 1 goalkeeper. I'm not even going to attempt his name because I can't say it. But I think we're going to go with Darren Randolph, who is championship level at best. And I think we're going to be pegged back for 90 minutes, and we are going to come out losing 3-1.
3-1. Okay. Phil?
It's like Ian reads my mind some of these weeks, but
so
yeah,
one as well.
I'm going 3-1 Everton as well. Just the strength of Everton, I think, will be a bit much. I think they've got some good youth players, which they haven't shown this year, but I think they'll put them on, and that will dominate over West Ham's youth. As much as I hate it.
All of my predictions this week were kindly given to me by my good lady wife. So if they are correct, I'm going to be using her predictions going forwards. If they're not, and I absolutely tank this week, I'm never speaking to her again in terms of football.
Just to clear that one up.
Yes, yeah. So just to, I did explain the current form of each team, and to be fair, she's actually given some pretty good predictions. For the Everton West Ham game, I'm going to go for 2-1 to Everton.
We've all gone for an Everton win.
Yes. I think the way that Everton have started, they've been absolutely outstanding. Best team on Merseyside.
No.
So the Premier League is staying in Liverpool, but it's got to travel half a mile.
A mile. We did the walk, mate. It's across the park.
Oh, no. Do you reckon I'll take it on those swings?
I reckon some people will. So the next game we have, Mr. Bannerman, is Liverpool versus Arsenal.
Yeah, you might as well just get your own hotel and live at Anfield for a little while at this rate.
I will pass. Because of work commitments, obviously.
I take you all back to the beginning of this year when there was another Anfield night of a cup game of Liverpool versus Arsenal, where it was a 5-4 thriller?
5-5.
5-5, and then we won on penalties. Incredible game. So I'm thinking youth teams are going to be put out in this game, or our second team, as we did last week. They scored 7, but this is a better team. So I'm going to go for lots of goals and Liverpool winning 4-2.
Very good.
Okay. Ian?
Oh, me. We're gone to me. I thought it was going to go to you being the away side. Well, I still stand by you're going to win tonight. That's going to happen. And then that means Liverpool play a slightly stronger squad because they can't lose 2 on the trot to you. So I'm going to go 3-1 to Liverpool in that game.
Traitor.
Just logic, Mike.
There's no allegiances here, mate. There's no allegiances. I hate everyone.
I'm actually quite intrigued by this fixture because I do think it's going to be very much driven on tonight's result. I think it's going to be a good test for us tonight's game, just to see where we are in the terms of challenging for the top 4. I'll go back to what I said at the start of the season. I don't think we're title contenders this season. I think we're still a way off from it. But tonight will be a good benchmark to see where we are. I personally would prefer to finish in the top 4 in the league, which is why I think we will put out another rotated squad on Thursday. But that being said, the squad that we had out against Leicester, which I thought was going to get tanked as well, we actually won. If you do go ahead and play your rotated team, I think we've got much better or much more about us. I personally, you shake your head, I think we've got more about us for Liverpool, but you just don't know what's going to happen.
You don't.
But it wouldn't surprise me if we get a draw. So I'm going to go for 2-2 draw, but us to win on penalties.
Ooh.
There you
Controversial.
go. Yes.
Make for an interesting game, hopefully.
Yes, yeah, definitely. We've, as I said, we've come off the back of 2 wins against you in the last couple of months. So we beat you at the Emirates, and then we beat you with a rotated squad ish in the Community Shield. So I expect to see something along the same lines. Right, we'll move on quickly to the Premier League. First fixture we've got for the weekend is Leicester versus West Ham.
Well, I guess that'll be me again then. Leicester versus West Ham. I mean, as I said, that in one good, one bad, if you reflect back onto that, we won 4-0. So that means that generally our next game is going to be poor. When you look at the way Leicester played against Man City, they were another level. Bonuses, Dennis Pratt went off injured, and Jamie Vardy went off with a sore groin. So I'm hoping that no one rubs it better for him, so that he's not playing. I think if he
definitely will.
Well, if let's not get into it, Jamie Vardy's misses. If Jamie Vardy isn't playing, then that changes the game completely. I think if he's not playing, we win, and I think we win 2-0. If he is playing, then I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm going to go for 2-2.
Is that your locked in
score? No, you know what? Let's be optimistic, West Ham fan. Let's go 2-0 West Ham, and hope that Jamie Vardy's injured. Okay. What's the worst thing going to happen? I'm still going to be bottom.
Let's hope he spends his Sunday in his missus.
What?
Oh, easy.
It's a bit far.
Phil, your predictions.
Leicester, West Ham. So Leicester, say, I don't think they put the best team out against you, and then come out and just demolish City. So they'll be riding high after that game. I think they've still got some threat from their midfield, Madison, Barnes, in providing very well games. So I think West Ham will just going to struggle on this one, and I'm going 3-0 Leicester.
Over to you, Mr. Hawes.
I'm going to be a bit more optimistic. Coming off the back of a couple of wins for yourselves, there's got to be some sort of confidence levels that are being bred back into the team, which I think is good because the way you started off the season was absolutely poor. I'm going to give you a bit more of of a hope, I'm going to go for 3-2 Leicester, but I'm going to go with the goal coming late on in the game. So 86th minute to clinch the win for Leicester.
Is that you or your other
How does that
half?
work? If you're going to be more optimistic for us, but you're going to lose.
Because you think
you play well, but you'll lose.
Because I think you'll give a good account of yourselves. Maybe you'll go 2-0 up, but then you capitulate and score 3 goals.
Well, I did I not say though in the curtain raiser that first game I feel is going to be some sort of protest against the board selling Diangana. Yeah. And then we're going to see some of the form that's come back from the end of last season.
And that's happy, which has been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if we carry on in that vein, we'll finish top half without any problems. It's just a case of staying injury free. So,
unless you use the first game of each month as your protest, in which case my point's valid.
Is it your point or is it your wife's point, Mike?
Same difference.
Well, no, because it wouldn't be the first game of every month because that will be against Everton.
No. Yes.
Yeah, that's on the 4th.
Yes, it would.
It doesn't matter. We still win. Woohoo!
All right. Moving on.
Moving on. What's up next?
Arsenal versus Sheffield United.
Tough game.
Yeah, Sheffield are obviously coming off the back of a couple of defeats, and some people have said that they're riding their second season luck, or their second season luck has run out already, and they do think that they will end up getting relegated. I think. Sorry,
I said that too. That was me.
Oh, yeah.
I've been saying that.
Not just you. I'll do my research. We had a couple of fluky losses against Sheffield last year. I think there was a 1-0 and a 2-1, I think it was. Or it might have been a loss and a draw. I think the way we are going at the moment, we have shown a lot of fight. Even if we're playing badly, we've managed to pull out a result as we did against you guys. I'm going to put us down for a confident 2-0 win on that one.
Very good. Go on, Phil.
Mike's confidence has changed from my result just a little bit. So I was initially going, I don't think Arsenal. I think Arsenal are going to win no matter what. Sheffield have been poor. They've missed something. They missed that extra 10% or so that they had last year, which was keeping them up. And that may well be the fact they've lost their outstanding goalkeeper in Henderson they did have, who kept them in games a lot more and changed things. So I'm going to go Arsenal 2, Sheffield 0. I just think Arsenal will be too much class for them.
You're going 2-0 as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Sheffield United have been poor. John Egan's still out, isn't he? Suspension for the red card. As you said, Dean Henderson was another level goalkeeper. I don't know how he's not Manchester United's first keeper. And I think that's going to make all the difference. I feel like Arsenal are going to have a very long week, but you're going to come out tearing one up, and you're going to see that similar form to when you played Fulham to start off with. So I'm going 4-0 to Arsenal.
Moving on very quickly, the last fixture we need to do the predictions on is Aston Villa versus Liverpool.
Shall I start?
Yep.
So this is away to Aston Villa. I think there'll be goals both sides. I'm going for both teams to score on this one. Villa have been good. They did all right so far tonight. When I was watching the game earlier, they seem to be scoring goals, which they weren't last year, and they're keeping clean sheets, which is a positive.
Go on,
yeah, your goalkeeper in there who's a lot better than they've had previously. Although Pepe Reina is a legend, but he's a bit old. So I'm going with this one. I'm still going to go for Liverpool win. I think it will be too strong. The first team will just tear some up, but I do still think Aston Villa will get a goal. So I'm going to go Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 1.
Shall I jump in next?
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's going to be a claret and blue victory. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to go very much in a style of Watford, but you're going to go down to Aston Villa as you did in the League Cup last year, but it's only going to be 1-0. That's
Scrappy.
my prediction. Well, not even necessarily scrappy. They're going to score in like the 5th minute and then just go, nah, and sit back for 97 minutes.
What do you think of VAR penalty?
Nah, never. Never. It's
No,
not happening.
Liverpool will get one, won't they?
Well, Liverpool will, but they'll miss it.
Okay, so you're 1-0 Villa, yeah?
1-0 Villa.
Okay, I am going to go along the same lines as Phil. I think there will be goals either side. Aston Villa have done very well so far at the start of the season. And I do think that Emi Martinez is going to be key to them at the weekend. But I do think along the same lines as Phil, I think that Liverpool will clinch it. And again, I think it's going to be a late one. Maybe Aston Villa scoring first and then Liverpool getting a kick up the backside. I'm going to go 2-1 as well.
Got no faith, mate.
As you say, Ian, West Ham scored all their goals at the weekend. I think Aston Villa scored all their goals today.
Oh, what was the score today? I've not seen
3-0
it.
up so far.
Oh, I think really. Oh, they're playing Fulham.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But in fairness, I think that's going to be a going scoreline, isn't it? I think Mitrovic will go in January, and now they'll be gone.
Right. So we've just come into the end of this week's podcast. If you're still watching, Ian, give us a word.
Hamburglar.
Hashtag Hamburglar.
Yeah, Hamburglar.
Okay.
You know, do you remember him when McDonald's when they used to be painted on the wall? Don't have them anymore. Kids these days don't know.
I'm old enough to remember that, mate. being 95, looking good for it, though, aren't I?
You're 95. You're younger than me, sir.
Yeah, you're 105. So we've got 1 week of the transfer market left. Just very quickly, I will talk about mine because I don't want to keep going on about it. More links with Jose Mawar, also links with Thomas Partey. The reports I've seen is that we will sign at least one of those. One of the ones that's been thrown kind of out of left field was Jorginho from Chelsea. But that's on the basis that Chelsea signed Declan Rice, which I know you're going to be very vocal about, Ian, if that does come to fruition. But yeah, Jorginho, not really my style of player. Granted, my opinion may change of him if and when that deal does go through. But I'm just not a fan of him and his stupid penalty taking technique. He can do one until he's an Arsenal player. Then I'll be like, welcome to Arsenal, best midfielder in the world. Love you. But yeah, that's. I would love to see at least one more signing from us. I think we've done some pretty good business. Michael out. That's my transfer updates. Someone else go.
All I'm going to say, and I'm going to say it once and once only, and I apologise for my French in advance, but fuck off, Frank Lampard. Leave Declan Rice alone. Essentially, from what I've been reading, they're going to submit or already have potentially a £40 million bid.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So my thinking of this is Man City have just bought another defender for 65 million quid, right? Young fella, similar age to Declan Rice, maybe even a couple of years older. Never played a game in the Premier League, so unproven, 65 million quid. Declan Rice has 101 appearances in the Premier League and is without question the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League at the moment. So if you can pull that face, he is. The statistics don't lie, do they? And he walks into every starting lineup in the Premier League. So if a bloke who's never played a game is worth 65 million quid, the best central defensive midfielder in the Premier League is arguably double, without question. Yeah. And even then, I would say don't sell him.
$100 million.
If you build, you should be building that team around him, not going. Oh, I mean, I know it's a lot of money. It's that is a astronomical amount of money, but. Yeah. Build the team around him. He's already he's going to take over the captaincy from Mark Noble. If he wants, if you can prove to him that there is a future there for him, then keep him, 100% without question.
Exactly. You don't want to take the money, like 60 or 40 million pound, and then go and buy another striker from nowhere.
We wouldn't buy anyone.
There's nothing.
We would sell him and not buy anyone, and then we'd get relegated.
Travesty.
That's how West Ham's working. I mean, that's what would happen, and then that will just cause outrage. Go on, Phil.
Traveller.
Any more players coming in for Liverpool?
Simple. Book closed. No players coming in. I don't foresee anyone coming in now. I think it's all job done. Maybe a couple of players out on loan or sell like Brewster. I think there's a lot of rumours and a couple of clubs interested in taking him off our books. So yeah, I think we're done. I think Jota and Thiago will be fantastic addition to the squad and make some real differences.
Okay. Good job, guys.
We'll close the book on today.
Yes, and we've got a football match to get off to. Well, I say get off to go and watch. Thank you very much for tuning in. We are available for those who don't know. If you're unable to watch the YouTube videos, we do have the podcast
Audio.
available. Yes,
in an audio format.
If you don't want to see our faces, you can just hear our voices.
Spotify, Anchor. If you go to our Twitter accounts, you'll be able to see a thing called a link tree, and you'll be able to find links to our Instagram, YouTube, all the different platforms that the podcast is available on.
Mm-hmm.
We really do appreciate you continuing to watch our videos. If you do enjoy them,
watch them twice.
Yeah, please. Especially when it comes to my videos, because I'm significantly behind Ian. Predicted lineups coming out again later on this week.
Yep.
We also have the fitness challenge, which we're also doing. Stay tuned.
And general other football nonsense.
Well,
yes. Things.
I mean, every time we look into the positive of potentially being able to get out and do more football related content, the government says no, not to go outside anymore. No more meeting up in sixes or less, but you can go out and you can't do anything, and you've got to be home by 10 o'clock. So
you can still play team sport though.
I think this is something that we need to do, because obviously Bojo's clearly watching what we're doing. So I think if we talk about it between ourselves, he won't know that Boris Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bojo.
That's what I'm saying. If we don't announce it, if we just say, "Oh, we're currently struggling," and then we text each other and go, "Look, we'll do it," he won't know, and therefore the restrictions will be lifted. Just saying.
Maybe not. Who knows?
It's all text, Bojo.
But in all seriousness, thank you for continuing to watch. If you think other people will be interested, please share it, leave a comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already done so. I've been Mike.
I've been Ian.
I have been Phil.
And we'll catch you next time.
Ta-ra!